Hi Fraser Christian, Coastal Survival. Third and final part of the Subshelter build with the hazel pole roof. And if you look back at the other episodes, you can see how we got to digging at this stage and getting these poles in. These are hazel poles, and all I've added since the last video is an extra 2 inside of the 3 we've had, so we've got 5. If you've only got 3, you won't have got any strength to weave across. So there's 5 in there, and they've got about, I don't know, half a metre, it's a little bit less between them, foot and a bit. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 3 on each side plus the ridge pole. Okay, and they're just woven, as I showed you, putting the other poles together. Anyway, it's gonna get finished today. The sun's come out, which is great. It's not much breeze today, it's lovely and warm. Probably get my jacket off and my hat in a minute, hopefully. But what we've done, I've got this pole in here. This is the final pole I want to show you, really, because once we've got this hoop, although we've got strength that way, we haven't got any strength for the what they call a lateral movement. Okay, stop it moving backwards and forwards. And then what we've done, I've got another stick here, and I've put it, if you can see, goes down into that corner up there, and under and over and under and over and under the bottom corner. And then all I need to do then is push it exactly just behind this one, right into the ground, making sure she doesn't go through. And then hopefully, as long as we've got enough tension on there, if we haven't, and if you find you haven't and the poles are a little bit too bendy, just weave an opposite one. I'll put one in the other way, and that should stop the lateral movement this way. Won't stop too much going backwards. We can put another one in that way if we wanted it to stop it going backwards, but because it's slightly facing downhill, I can't see that we probably need one to stop it going backwards anyway. So just now with that one in, you can see there's no lateral movement, and that's the one, or the 2 if you're making this on a flat surface. You'd want one this way and one that way to stop the lateral movement both ways. But that's the kind of the crucial part of it, I suppose. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is just dig with the commando shovel just a little bit away from the borders. That side's not too bad, it's a little bit closer spoil on this side, and we're probably not going to come up with the sand or the mud probably past this pole here. And I say there's another one below that one, which is about that far from the ground that we've dug out. I can't imagine that we're going to, with what we've got, get much up past that profile. Okay, but then what we have achieved now, if we can get it even up to even a foot up there, we've got most of our shelter in the ground. Okay, we only need to make one wall basically. The back, yeah, possibly we've got the spoil up there, and what we'll have to do to stop that spoil coming this way is stick some poles, make a little tiny bit of a fence or a hurdle at the back there, which is going to be just sticking some stakes in, and then again just weaving these in to give that some support, but not much. I don't think we're going to need much up there. I mean, we could even not put soil at the back there because it's going to be blind to the back there anyway. We could have put the chimney up there, but if I'm going to have a fire, I'm going to want the fire near the door. And where I said I was going to put, on the last video, put the door in this corner, and I've left the soil and sand out from there. It's a little bit daft because I won't leave myself any room to be able to crawl in. So we're going to put the door central, so we've got the most height to get in, and hopefully make a fireplace over here between this square. What I'm going to do is put poles in, weave them if I have to, maybe use some bindings. I've just found some alder trees down there and started to make some bindings. Can start looking at natural bindings. At the moment there's no bindings in this, it's just the friction of the poles put it together, and it's a really strong construction. Like I say, the Gypsy's been using this for years, and I've used them for years. Very reliable if you've got hazel, and semi-nomadic. I suppose I mean, I'm trying to make this as small as possible so I don't have to have any heat in there. We're sort of hoping that just one person or 2 people, and you could have 2 people sleeping if you had to, is going to be just enough warmth to hopefully survive. Maybe not sub-zero temperatures, and that's maybe why we need the stove. And so that'll just be made out of sticks, to stop the sticks burning. I've never done this before, this type of chimney. I've seen it done. I've made some chimneys, I've made some render, I've made some carve. I'm familiar with hurdles, so putting all those skills together, hopefully So it's just going to be a stick chimney, and we'll line that to stop it burning with what they call render, which is I'm going to find some lime at the top of this hill because we're on lime and sand. We'll go down the bottom of the hill, just where the sand stop, where the sand will meet the clay. I might be able to dig some clay. We can make some cob, which is clay and straw. They put muck into it as well. But if we can find some lime, we might not be able to find any wet lime, where it's sort of mixed with the rainwater and puddled up, and maybe I can get that as some sort of paste. But if not, we can find some chunks of it. And traditionally, how they used to make mortar for sticking bricks together was with lime before they used cement. And when we're making a chimney or making a fireplace, one thing I will say, I've done this, I have done this loads when I used to have a building company, done loads of fireplaces, restored loads of chimneys. And if we avoid using cement in our render, we just normally just use lime render, it stops it cracking. It's a good, really good binding agent. I say what they used to do, they used to make kilns and bake the lime, and I think it's called chilting it. I'm not quite sure of that pronunciation. But anyway, you bake that lime, get it red hot, let it cool down, mix it with water, becomes kind of toxic and very burns. I've had it on my skin before. It is very caustic, I think you'd say. But great building material, especially when I make fireplaces. So everything should be possible. Anyway, what I need to do, dig these ditches out round there, make sure I can get the tarp over. We've already checked it fit on the last video. There's going to be plenty of overhang hopefully, and I'll just put banks, the first bit of soil on that overhang, and that should secure it all the way around without having to do too much. We might use a little bit of string or bindings. I say we've got a modern tarp, so why wouldn't we have some string, I'm presuming, bit for the door. And then for the door, we'll end up making that hopefully a wattle woven door. And then we're just going to put the sticks down here again and weave in to shut it off at the front. Anyway, I'll switch the camera off now, get on with this, and then hopefully when we come back you'll see the tarp on, and we'll start to put the mud over, well, up as far as we can. Let's get the camera off the tripod, just show you quickly what I've done. Tarp's on. What I want to show you is this overhang. What I've done is remove the soil up to the poles. Can go on to it. So let me move it. And then what I've got is a gutter going all the way up, and I'll show you at the back. This goes down to the back, and then what we'll do, it'll run, if any water comes down, there's not going to be a lot of that back roof anyway, it's only a little profile. You come run along there, down, and then we'll just tuck that corner over, one-handed. Yeah, we've got our natural gutter, and once this is covered in soil, any rain that comes off the top will just run straight down the edge, just like a gutter hopefully. All good in theory. Anyway, I'll just get the soil banked up now. What I'm going to do is just bank the soil up over to secure the top at the front and the back. Can't come up too high at the back. Most of that spoil at the back is going to come down on the sides. Like I say, I've only got a slight profile open to the elements at the back there anyway. Right, let's crack on. Right, I've got to this stage where I showed you I've put the tarp down as like a gutter over the back, and it just almost goes just on that flat profile, and that's sure. And that first two logs I had in the back, I just took the top one off, put the tarp down, put that one down to keep it secure. And I don't know if you can see, I'll show you all around it at the back in a minute, because it's not going to change much at the back. And it's flat at the back now, I've just pinned it down, and you can see what soil spoils left, only a little bit, and that'll come down onto the side. But give the side a little bit of strength, so the mud's not straight onto the top. I've just put all the branches that I've taken when I was making the framework for this, just led them down that way, so hopefully one branch goes across two upright poles, and then a couple of long ones. They don't have to be, they can be a little bit dead, and then some ferns, a little mixture of what I've got here, some ferns, just a little bit of cushioning just initially to get it in. And we're not going to throw the mud against it. And the rest of this sand and mud now, if you look at it, it's only a bank of about that much. By the time it's there, I imagine it's going to be this high. But you'd work up to the sort of halfway, and then you get some, you obviously get more of a profile if you want to keep going up and up and up and up and up. But we're only going to get up to here, and then the rest of it is probably going to have to be the top like this. In my mind, I imagined it is a lot shallower. I was looking for a living roof, but in this country, gets very hot during the summer. It's not alpine conditions, and those living roofs don't last anyway. So the sunlight will end up breaking this down. It's a little bit exposed if we were behind enemy lines and anyone was coming up on us, but doesn't mean to say that we can't camouflage this up or UV protect it or make it more aesthetically pleasing to the landscape, shall we say, by putting some ivy over it, putting some branches when the leaves are out over it, or even just trying to carry on working up and up and up and just finding lots of debris and deadfall. I mean, it wouldn't be too hard to cover this in debris anyway, would it? But we could just carry on, even if we just went up and up and up, or laying sticks across it the same. Use your imagination. But anyway, I'm going to bank this down now, and all I do now is take it down from the front, and you can see that's the bit, you'll get down to the bit closest to the top, hopefully. It's got the plants and the roots on, so I'll put those just at the top, hopefully, and then it's just a case of putting what you've got back on, and start on the top first of all, and just pile it right up, and hopefully it should get up to about here by the time I've dug all this over. Okay, so let's get back to it in that stage in a second. Okay, so there's the earth banked up and flattened off at the back, and that's really pinned down and secure. It's coming down on a 45-degree slope. I'll just take the camera off the tripod. Yeah, not too much weight on top of the tarp, as you can see. So the bank's going down on a sort of 45-degree slope. I couldn't imagine we'd have it much steeper than that, but you can see that where the earth's up against it, about a foot off of the rise. And remember, we're sort of 2/3 into the ground anyway. It's not that much stress on there. And then all I need, I haven't used any string or anything yet. I've just put the eyelets in with a few twigs behind there to hold it. But there it is from the inside. You can sort of see with the shadows. And again, we've got the hooped poles going across the top, 5 that are bent round on each other. And then the ridge pole and the side poles, which there's 2 on each, if you didn't get that from earlier. Don't know if I described that properly. Yeah, there's 2 on each, bending opposite ways round, so it's got that tension. And then, because it's south facing and it's up a hill, the only sort of stress we're going to get from the wind is if it goes right up in there. So I need to make a door or a wall and a door in the middle out of sticks again. And in that corner there, where there'll be a wall eventually, that's hopefully where I'm going to put a fireplace with a chimney outside and be able to access it just from the inside. Anyway, I need to get a door on it first of all on the wall, so I'll come back to it when it's at that stage. So, I'm up to doing the front wall now. That's where the door's going to be, that's where the other wall's going to be. And if we make the chimney, it'll be exterior to that, like a little box, and then we'll cut through that wall. But just want to show you, although it's just pretty straightforward, again it's just in and out, in and out. So we start with this one, starts this side, goes that way, and the one before it starts the other side, and just in and out till you get to the back. But when you want to put the last bite in, especially if you've got a little bit of a stiffer pole and this is just quite bendy, it's quite hard to get that last bit round to there. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that. So start up on an angle facing down so you can push down easily. Get this stick so it just meets where it wants to lock off on the last one, and then just bend your hand, pull it back towards you, bend this out towards you so your only bit of friction is on this pole here, and then you can slide down just till you get the bite. It's easy to slide down that way rather than trying to push that. It was just a little bit of detail I wanted to show you, trying to show you what the sort of hardest bits are, and then the rest is pretty straightforward. And all we're doing, we're just going to make a hurdle wall up to here. We're just trying to put as much earth up to it as possible. Hopefully we're going to, I was hoping to get some clay and make this into a cob wall, but we'll see. It's starting to take shape anyway, so quite a few sticks to gather, and all I'm doing is I put the long ones in this way. And if I didn't say anyway, this is, start with your thickest ends, put 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, because you've got the last one, the 4th one, that takes the bite. As we said earlier, 3's not enough because you only got friction off one pole, so more than 3 seems to be working. 5 we had on the top, didn't we? That had loads of tension. Yeah, so I'm going to get this up about to that height, and that's about as much sword it's going to take anyway. And then before I do too much more, I'm going to add a little bit of housekeeping and then tied up some of the loose soil now, so it's pretty flat inside there. But I want to get some sort of bed structure, and I've been working out in my mind I'm going to make it freestanding. One's going to require a lot of joinery, a lot of binding, so we're trying to work off friction and shear pressure, I think they call it. So I'm thinking if I can dig 2 grooves into the side of the clay, the sand, sorry, on each side, and then possibly put a log, bit of like a log or a branch on each side. I might try and get some alder for that, because one unique quality that alder's got, I don't know if it's unique, but one quality it has got is if you keep it damp or in contact with wet mud or damp mud, you cut it down live, it doesn't rot. They used to use it for making tracks through woods and anywhere where it was really boggy, obviously, and then it's wet, and yeah, it don't rot for ages, which is a weird thing that I learnt. So yeah, maybe just 2 logs and recesses in each side of there, and then just some poles straight across. Anyway, let's crack on. Okay, trying to get in there without smashing the tripod off. Just want to show you the bed before I get any more of the walls up. Hopefully you can see this with these poles in the way now. I've got some stout hazel poles, 3 of them, and the only thing I went and got was a folding pruning saw, which straps onto the back of there if I need it to be carried towards the wall in one unit. And rather, I could have chopped through it with that, but for neatness, so I don't damage the local trees, and for speed, a saw is always, as most people know, a really good addition to the kit. And this is just a silky fox, I think this one's called, F180, and it's got a large, well, it looks like a multi-purpose blade, actually I might be wrong. It's got some small teeth in there, but the big wide teeth normally for live wood, so ideal for this type of work. And yeah, so what I've done, just with this, made this my measuring stick and just measured right across and dug in a little bit of a slant. Like I was saying, I haven't banked it up with a piece of alder. What I've done, because I had the limestone that I dug out earlier, I thought rather than use wood to bank it up to stop, hopefully stop the end of these poles rotting, stone seemed a lot more obvious. Make footings don't get out of stone, so it went pretty level. There's a gap over that side. I left that one to show you what I mean. And that's not supported, look. So just basically, because I've got that slot in there, and where did I have I had a piece of wood there for a hammer just a second. Oh, there it is, sorry. Yeah, and then just tap it underneath and keep banging it. It goes right in. And just bites in that channel, and there you go. So yeah, 3 poles across there, and then 1 straight in to the bank behind us, because we might as well use that. And then find the end of, because this was 1 pole, it was really long, and then the end, luckily, had this lovely Y which I was looking for, imagine in my mind. And that, then again, I've just put some stone down in there, banged some stone down, and footed this on a piece of stone to hopefully stop it rotting. But it's really strong already, he says. First time, I thought, I won't sit on it till switch the camera on, but there you go. It's really strong. And then all we need to do now, and we can use this measuring stick so I don't need it anymore now, is just go across it, and I'll show you the first one. And again, you might as well use the bank to secure it on that side, and then, well, let me show you one first of all. It's pretty obvious, I know. So push it right in. Don't need to cut it off just yet. There, across the 3 poles, holding them down. Just push it in as much as you can. If you need, if it's a harder ground, this is still quite damp. It will dry out hopefully. And if it's harder ground, use a peg and a stone, or your hammer, your pounder and put the hole in first of all. But what I can do, I want it to be finishing at this length here. I'll leave a little tiny bit on, because and I might be able to bang in a little bit more anyway. So just leave, it's in about an inch already, or 5 centimetres. So just give it a bit of an overhang and get our batten and just send that one home. So that they won't move at the back there. We don't want them all moving when we're on the bed rolling around. And then all I need to do is stop these ones. I mean, you could just get on it as long as you sort of didn't move around too much, but to secure these ones I don't want to use any real decent cord that I've got, or any really decent string, and I don't need to spend time making any really decent cordage if I didn't have any normal cord, which I have, but I haven't used any yet, so I'm going to try not to use any until I really have to. But yeah, rather than making any cordage, one thing I have got, I put up here, is trying to look for something that's already kind of made. Okay, this is ivy, creeping ivy, and what I've done, this is the bit that trails down from the tree. You find it growing up and then trailing right down, and all I've done is I started from the tip and just took my hand down. All the leaves are out there. It's really easy to strip off now. Just like this isn't going to have any real integral strength as far as like moving that way. It'd probably just snap. I'd probably have to condition it and twist it, but it doesn't need loads of strength. It's only to hold these poles in place. Your body, once you're actually on there, is going to hold them in place, isn't it? And the bank behind it. So all I'm going to need to do is literally just weave it round, and because that pole's so thick, even that, the thickest end will go round. So I know the thinnest end will, and I'll just go round and snake it all the way round when they're all in place. Anyway, hopefully you can see me. It's gone a little bit grey, a little tiny bit of drizzle, nothing too much to worry about having the phone getting wet at the moment. But what I'll do is I'll finish this bed just because I can sleep in it at the moment. The rain, even if it comes in on the angle, probably won't even hit the bed. It'd have to be on a real steep angle with a strong wind. But think about progressing in stages, as I say, in the survival situation, progressing in stages, making something and then improving it and improving it and improving it. So first of all, we dug the bank out, okay? If we'd had our tarp, first of all, we'd just put that off of a branch off a tree. But we dug the bank out, we could have put the tarp down over it straight away, okay? Then we put the poles on it, elevated the roof. But again, we can sleep in it straight away. Even if we have to sleep on the floor, we know we have to put a crow's nest, like I've showed you in the other videos, about just filling this with firewood, load of different sticks. We'd fill it right up to this level here, and we'd sleep on that. And again, that'd give us dry firewood. And even if it was raining, we had to have a fire right in the corner here, okay? So most of the smoke would go out, and as long as we were by the door there, we wouldn't kill ourselves. But say if we can get a chimney on the outside of there and have a little open fireplace in there, only a little one, but just something that you could put the mug in, primarily for cooking a little bit of food, but primarily for water, shelter, fire, water and food. I haven't said that before. That's the key points that we need to survive in that order: shelter, fire, water and food. So shelter is obviously really important. That's why I've taken time and tried to show you a few different techniques of how to achieve shelter. Not for maybe one night, like I say, the tarp can just go straight, but long term, and this is pretty solid now. You've got to think there's probably a ton of mud and sand holding this tarp down. These poles, I mean, I won't tempt fate, but I could probably just about hang on them. And it's steep enough, the sides, even if it snows, and it may snow, forecast for 2 weeks time, second week of February it may snow, and it's supposed to have like an horrific snowstorm, but then they always say on the forecast. But it's pretty steep sided, it sheds snow, and like I say, if we want to get the UV off of it now, we can cover it again with any debris, or even a smaller tarp. We can even get a smaller tarp now. We'd only need a 2 by 2 metre tarp, and that could go on top of it again, and we could put insulation in between that, you know, put loads of grass and ferns and what have you, and dry stuff if we can, straw, etc., and stop that blowing away, because it's not going to be held there. We could just put, if we had another 2 by 2 tarp, we could create a really good thermal layer up there. Again, improving, but working with what you got. Okay, and I know it's a pretty fancy shelter and it's taken a long time, but filming it, editing it, downloading it, getting the space back to film the next day, etc., etc., etc. But I was saying, if you started first thing in the morning, you had the resources around you like we have, we don't have to travel too far. I think it would be possible to get, not the door, maybe not the wall done, but this stage at least, and the bed done within a day, or at least a day and a half. Even if you're on your own and you weren't feeling too clever, like I've not been as fit as a fiddle. But anyway, I'll get on with the bed, because I know it goes on and on and on, sorry, but just keep trying to give you these little points. Anyway, hope you're enjoying the videos. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It all helps. I know everybody says it and they say it for a reason. It really does help get everything out there, get everybody to see stuff. And if YouTube thinks it's popular, they'll put it, hopefully, like you've seen it, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and they'll put it, you know, on your TV. So hopefully, yeah, we'll do loads more interesting videos. Most of my stuff I normally do is down the coast, but we're in the woodland, it's winter, and again, we've got the beach, the sea, which is where I mostly operate, on the sea, on the beach. But then just behind the beach, as you all know, what is there? Fields and woodland. So it's not unusual for me to be in the woodland, because we don't often, if we stay on the beach, it's normally wind. If you've ever been on the coast, it's normally wind. We normally retreat into the trees anyway when we're down there long term. So hopefully loads more coastal stuff coming up when the season starts. But like I say, thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll get on with this anyway. Hopefully I might be able to lie in it before it gets dark. Just doing the binding, say there, all the poles are in now for the bed, all the way along. I'll just move the camera, and you can see that. There you go, my hand right in front of it. Anyway, all the poles are in now. I'm just going to show you, hopefully, get it right. Right, hopefully just show you this binding. So here's the piece of ivy, and so I've done nothing else to it, just rubbed it sort of backwards and forwards over my leg once. Thick end, just round on itself, like you tie in one knot, but go round on it a couple of times and just pull it until the end breaks, and then go back a bit till it doesn't break. It's only a rudimentary knot, but it's holding on there. And then again, it's just round and round. Hopefully you can see that. So working with the walls getting thinner now, so it's easier, more flexible. And just not loads of tension on there, just keeping it tight enough so they don't move. It's just real simple all the way along. So bed's made, bar the shouting, just needs the wall done, but again, it's ready to sleep in. And I say, got that loads of room back from the bed in case it rains. I say it'd have to be coming down like stair rods horizontal to get us wet there. So we've got a bed anyway for the night. I mean, now we just need to really pimp it up, try and get the fireplace in at some point. But once I've got this bed finished and I'm going to get a little bit more of the wall done, that's going to be it for now. So you've seen everything, and then next time we come back and visit it, I need to take a break from it now. I've got some other stuff to do, and like I was saying earlier, I need to get down the beach and do the wild food, especially this coming out now just in the middle of winter. I'm going to do it seasonally this year, the wild food on the coast. But anyway, bed will be done, so it's just like that, finished, and the walls are going to be done, and then we'll do the door, and then hopefully when we come back to that stage you'll see it, and then it'll be ready for, well, definitely ready for sleeping in. But like I say, it's ready now. I'll just put that last binding round a minute, just get to the middle anyway. And so they're already pretty much held in place. Just put that over there. They're pretty much held in place, and that stops them moving. It's only for when you're getting in and out of bed. And what you don't want to do, because they're quite thin, and what I've done, any of the ends that are too thin, they've gone outside and they'll go on for the wall because they're easy to weave. So the middle's going to be like the strongest, okay? But this is really strong, and just try and spread your weight when you go over it. You want to be lying down on it. Try not to sit on these thin poles straight away. Try and sit on the bearing pole in the middle when you get into it. And that's hopefully, I'll either end up on the floor. I don't know if I'm going to be able to lie right down, can I? Well, I'm just 6 foot. I measured this for Ben, didn't I? I'm just 6 foot, and I can almost stretch out. So I normally sleep, especially when it's cold, in more of a, what I think they call a fetal position. Anyway, curled up, And that, I mean, you might have to readjust your hips so you get the right, yeah, you just have to get your hip right in between that stick there, your shoulder right in between the stick. But by now, especially after you've done this, if you've just done this in one day, I think you'd be going straight to sleep anyway. I don't even think, unless it was Sub-Zero, you'd worry about the fire and you'd wake up with the birds in the morning. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like I say, bed's done, bar little bindings. You've seen how to do the walls. Next time you come back and see me, there might be a few videos hopefully in between, or maybe just get straight back on with this. I've got a few other videos planned I need to get on with, and other things in life, as you all appreciate. So when you come back to it, hopefully you might have a chimney in there, but Ben might be here ready to sleep his first night. Solo survival shelter, here we come. But if there was two of you, you could definitely have that bed out to there. Once you've made that wall, so the rain didn't come onto that bit, you could definitely extend that bed. But we've got loads of storage under here now. What I'm going to do is, sorry, I said that was it. What I'm going to do is put my firewood underneath there now, and that will stop any movement of air under there as well, stop any cold air coming up, trap that. It's a little bit damp in the ground, but it's better than it being out in the rain. So we've got somewhere to store some firewood. Could put my kit bag there, plenty of places to hang stuff, hang your knives and your axes and all your different bits there. Get a couple of candles, a little lantern in there, job's a good one. Anyway, please like and subscribe. And like I say, I appreciate your patience. I make these videos for, like I say, my students on past courses, previous courses hopefully. And if you're into coming on a physical course and getting your hands dirty, so to speak, it's nothing like feeling the materials and working, I say, watching someone do it. Hopefully I haven't made it too much of a chore. Sometimes it can make it look easy, people who've done it, but yeah, everyone's different, we all work differently. And you to find your own balance and your own style. So yeah, get out, book on some courses. If you can't go out and find anywhere on your own, if not, go out with a friend. It's always a good idea when you're going out into the middle of nowhere, take a friend with you. Let's say, book on some courses. There's loads of good course providers. There's not just me, there's loads of people in the UK and all over the world. And get yourself out in a nice safe environment with some people who know what they're talking about. Thank you.